Good morning. My name's Janet Miller. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name's Nairan Bunmi.
And can you tell me where you're from?
I'm from Thailand.
Can I see your identification, please? Thank you. In the first part, I'd like to ask you a few questions about yourself. What do you do? Do you work or are you a student?
Well, actually both. I'm a part-time student. I'm doing a degree in business studies. I'm also working as a lifeguard at my local swimming pool.
I see. What's the most interesting part of being a lifeguard?
Well, to be honest, it's not a very interesting job. Most of the time, we just wait by the pool. The most interesting part is probably the conversations I have with the other lifeguards. I've got to know them all pretty well now.
What's the most difficult part of being a lifeguard?
We quite often have to tell children to stop behaving badly, and occasionally their parents get angry with us. Don't tell my children what to do, that kind of thing. That can be difficult.
Would you say it's a good occupation?
Well, yes and no. It's a very pleasant job in some ways, but as I said, it can be boring, and it's not very well paid. That's why I'm doing a degree. I want to get something better.
I see. What are your career plans for the future?
When I graduate, I want to get a job in a financial institution, maybe a bank or insurance company. I haven't decided exactly what yet, but something like that.
In the first part, I'd like to ask you about the place where you live. Can you describe the building you live in?
Yes, I live in an apartment block. It's got, I think, 8 floors, and we're on the 2nd floor. It's a modern block. I think it was built about 20 years ago.
Is it similar to other buildings in the area?
Yes, it is. There are lots of blocks very similar to mine in that part of the city.
Is it in a convenient location for you?
No, not really. It's quite far from the city center. I'm studying at a college on the other side of the city, so I spend about 2 hours on the bus every day. It's quite boring. The bus is always quite crowded, and I often have to stand. Actually, it's probably the worst part of my day.
I can imagine. Apart from the buses, do you like living in your city?
Yes, I do. There's always a lot going on, and all my friends are there. It's very lively in the evenings. There are a lot of good bars and restaurants, and people come from all around the city to meet their friends and have a good time. It's a very good atmosphere.
What changes would improve the area where you live?
Like most cities, there's far too much traffic. I was talking about my bus journey every day. It's only about 10 kilometers, but it takes so long because most of the time the bus is stuck in a traffic jam. Also, sometimes the city is quite polluted, especially when the weather's cold and there's no wind to blow away the pollution. So, less traffic and less pollution would be big improvements.
I'd like to ask you some questions about your free time activities. What do you do at the weekends? Well, my final exams are next month, so at the moment I don't really have any free time at the weekends or any other days. However, in general, when I have free time, I like doing outdoor activities. In particular, I really like land yachting.
Land yachting? What's that?
Well, you have a little chariot with 3 wheels and a big sail. You sit on the chariot and catch the wind in the sail to make the chariot move. There's a big, flat, windy beach quite near where I live, which is ideal for it. It's also called beach yachting and also land sailing. You don't have to do it on a beach. Any flat land will do.
I see. What is it that you like about this sport?
On a windy day, the chariots can go really fast, and because you're so close to the ground, you really feel the speed. It's a thrilling experience. To tell the truth though, for every 10 minutes you spend on the chariot, you probably spend an hour setting up the equipment and waiting for the wind to be right. But that's all part of the fun too. It's great being outdoors by the sea.
How often do you get the chance to do it?
In theory, you can do it all year round, but it's not a lot of fun in the freezing cold. It's mostly a summer sport. I suppose April to October are the main months. You also need wind, of course. Another factor is the other people on the beach. In July and August, the beach can get quite crowded, so at that time of year, we mostly do it quite late in the day, when the beach is emptier. So generally, I do it at the weekends, from late spring to early autumn, but a bit less in the middle of the summer for the reason I just said.
How important a part of your week are your free time activities?
Actually, not really that important. Perhaps if I was working, my time off would be the most important part of the week in some ways. But because I'm a student, I don't so much feel the need to let my hair down at the weekends. I enjoy most of the time I'm studying too. It's not like doing a stressful job.
Do you enjoy your free time more now than you did when you were a child?
That's a hard question to answer. I don't really remember how I felt about my free time when I was a child. I used to go sand yachting then, too. It was my father who got me started. I used to find it quite frightening, and now I don't. So, in that respect, I suppose I enjoy my free time more now.
What free time activity would you like to try in the future?
I'd love to try real sailing, with a boat on the sea or a lake. I've never done it. I imagine it's probably a bit more difficult than sand yachting.
Now, let's talk about books and magazines. What kind of books and magazines do you like reading?
I'm really not bothered about magazines. I never buy them, and I hardly ever read them. Only if I'm in the dentist's waiting room or somewhere else where there's nothing better to read. I don't really have an opinion about them.
I see. So what sort of books do you like?
I don't read many novels. I'm much more interested in non-fiction. I'm a big fan of biographies. I think there's a lot to be learned from the lives of famous people. I like reference books. Obviously, you can't sit down and read an atlas or a dictionary of quotations, but I often spend time looking through that kind of book. Again, there's a lot to be learned from them.
Do you like reading any other types of book?
Well, as I said, I don't read many novels. I quite like crime fiction. At the moment, I'm reading a book by Michael Dibdin about an Italian detective called Aurelio Zen. It's quite good.
Have the types of book you like changed over the years?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat the question?
Have the types of book you like changed over the years?
No, not really. Obviously, my tastes now are different to my tastes as a child, but apart from that, I don't think they've really changed at all.
Do you prefer reading books or newspapers?
Well, I'm obsessed with news and current affairs. I buy 2 newspapers every day, and I read both of them. I spend much more time reading newspapers than books, so I suppose that must mean I prefer them.
Part 1. Let's talk about your schooling. Where did you go to primary school? I went to a small village primary school in London, England. There were only 100 children in the whole school. I think there were about 15 children in my year. Do you enjoy school? Yes and no. I have always quite enjoyed school. I'm quite academic and I like learning. But I don't like tests and exams. I hate having deadlines. So often I found school very stressful. There is so much pressure. Is your favorite school subject? My favorite subject at school has always been English. I love reading, and it is so interesting to learn about what books mean and to discuss different interpretations. I also really enjoy history. Learning about the past really helps us to understand the present. Is your least favorite subject in school? Well, I've never been keen on science. It just doesn't hold my attention. I wish I enjoyed it more because I do think that it is interesting and important to understand how the world works. I'm just better suited to creative subjects. What did you study? Do you want to study? Or are you studying at university? I was hoping to study English literature at university. It has always been my best subject at school, and I really enjoy it. My favorite author is Jane Austen, so I'm hoping to specialize in studying her work.
Good afternoon. Come in, please.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Well, can I have a look at your passport?
Yes, of course.
Thanks. And may I have your full name, please?
My name is Nagme Sadeghian.
Okay, Nagme, it's a nice name. What is the meaning of your name?
Well, my name means song or melody in the Persian language, in Farsi.
Okay, thanks. And do you think your name has an impact on your character and personality?
Well, I haven't given this much thought, but I think maybe because it means melody and song, it affects people's perception of my character. Perhaps this sort of cheerful name makes them expect a cheerful character, which I try to be, but obviously I'm not all the time. But no, I don't think it affects my character as a person.
All right, Nagme. Let's move on to another question. Is your health important to you?
I think everybody's health is important to them. I think we all try to do our best to lead a healthy life, but whether or not we succeed is a different question.
What do you do to improve your health?
Not as much as I should, to be honest. I don't think I eat as healthily as I should be, and I probably need to exercise a lot more and possibly cut down on my caffeine intake.
What is the major health concern in your country at the moment?
I think, like many other countries globally, our main health concern must be the N1H1 virus, which is also known as swine flu. The reason being that apparently it is taking on the form of a pandemic, which is very worrying due to the large population in my country. I do believe that the government is trying to control this with the guidelines and help of the World Health Organization, and hopefully this will be under control soon.
Okay, thanks, Nagme. Do you like cooking?
I do. I do like cooking, but unfortunately, due to my being a student, I don't find enough time to cook as regularly as I should.
Okay, thanks. What kind of food do you like?
Well, I enjoy a vast majority of the foods that I've tasted and experienced. I'm very fond of my country's local cuisine, but I also really enjoy a nice Italian or Chinese meal.
Okay, thanks, Nagme. What are the most famous dishes of your country?
Well, it would be difficult to name a few famous dishes or specialties, because I think each area of the country has its own specialty which people enjoy. But I think on an international level, I could perhaps say cholo kebab, which consists of grilled meat accompanied by rice. Chelo means rice and kebab means grilled meat. This meat can be any form. It can be beef or lamb, chicken, or even mincemeat, normally with a combination of onion. Traditionally, the meat is pulled onto skewers and cooked over a charcoal fire.
Okay, thanks. And tell me, in your country, have people's eating habits changed?
Well, I honestly don't think that this is just limited to my country. I think over the ages, people's living habits have changed, and also life has taken on a much faster pace. So I think that has reflected, maybe not very positively, on people's eating habits. You tend to catch a meal on the run. A lot of times, and a lot of people are constantly in a hurry, so they can't sit down and enjoy a proper meal during the day. Of course, it's good to take the time out and do this at least once a day in order to help your digestion and also focus on healthier foods.
Part 1. How often do you go on holiday? I'd say typically once or twice a year, always during the summer for about 2 weeks, and sometimes, if I'm lucky, I get to go away another time as well. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen as often as I'd like it to. As my old grand used to say, money doesn't go on trees. Where did you go most recently? Last time I went on holidays, I went to Paris for a week with the rest of my family. It was last March and we had such a wonderful time, visiting all the city's famous sights and attractions. It blew me away. Who do you normally go on holiday with? Most of the time I go with my family, but as I get older, I'm more inclined to go with my friends instead sometimes, as that gives me a little bit more independence to do my own thing. As time goes on, I guess I'll probably want to do that more and more. Do you have a favorite place to go on holiday? You bet! I love Barcelona. It's a beautiful city with a great nightlife and a real good buzz. Plus, it's not far from the sea or the mountains, so you've got the best of both worlds, really. What do you normally pack in your suitcase when you go away? Oh, you know, all the essentials: togs and a towel for the beach, some shorts and t-shirts, my toiletries, of course, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, shaving cream, a razor, and also some sunglasses, my camera. I'm always clicking. It drives everyone mad. That kind of thing. But I try to travel light, unlike some people I know who seem to take all their worldly belongings away with them.
Hello.
Hello.
Come in, please.
Thank you very much.
All right. May I have your full name?
My name is Sogol Bakhtiyari.
All right. Thanks, Sogol. Can I take a look at your passport?
Of course, here you are.
All right, Sogol. Do you like shopping and why?
I think I do like shopping quite a lot. Some people might call me a shopaholic. I think most women are like me. We tend to buy impulsively. We're impulsive buyers. This means that sometimes we buy things that we really don't need, but we enjoy doing that.
All right, thanks. What time do you do the shopping?
Well, as I work from 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I tend to do my shopping on the way back home or during the weekends. If I need something urgently, I might even take my lunch break and quickly go to the place I need to go and buy the thing I need.
Okay, Sogol, do you ever shop on the internet?
I don't think I would like to. I never have. And for me, shopping needs to be a personal experience. I like to see what I am choosing and about to buy. Seeing a photograph, I don't think does the same thing. It's not the same experience.
Thanks. Let's move on to topic of clothing. What type of clothes do you like to wear?
I like comfortable clothes, something that's easy to be in for the whole day.
Okay, and what kind of clothes do people in your country usually wear?
Well, that depends on their age, and also it depends on their job, sometimes even. But I think you'll find in Tehran, younger people like to wear trendy clothes. They like wearing jeans and colorful coats and T-shirts. Yes, I think the younger people enjoy younger fashion like everywhere in the world. They prefer to dress in a sporty manner, but of course for formal occasions, the men will put on a very nice suit and the ladies will wear an evening dress.
All right. Do you think people behave differently in different kinds of clothes?
I think they probably do. If you wear something smart and formal, I think you subconsciously feel that you're supposed to behave very dignified, maybe, and you might even feel important. But if you're wearing something comfortable and sporty and everyday, you'll probably behave more casual as well, and you'll probably be more approachable at the same time.
All right, thanks. Now let's move on to the topic card. I would like you to describe one of the shopping centers you often go to. So you have to talk about the topic for about 2 minutes, and you have 1 minute to think about a topic. Here is a paper and a pencil to write down whatever you wish, and then you may start.
Thank you. Good morning. Please come in and have a seat.
Good morning, ma'am. Thanks.
May I have your full name?
Sure. My name is Lale Koshani.
Thank you, Lale. Can I have a look at your passport?
Sure, there you go.
Thank you. All right, Lale. I'm going to ask you a few personal questions. Do you watch television a lot?
Well, not really. I'm not a couch potato, and also I don't think I'm a TV addict. But when I get back home in the evening, I really like to lie down and relax and switch on to a channel and watch probably TV series or news channels.
And what do you usually watch on TV?
Well, that's interesting, and it's in fact a very good question. Let me see. Well, most of the time I really like to follow the current news. So basically I watch news channels, and probably late at night I switch on the channels which has TV series.
All right. And what are the most popular programs in your country?
Well, I suppose among the people, probably TV series and documentaries are the most popular TV programs. Moreover, I suppose many people also are interested in following the news. So many of them, in fact, follow the current news through TV channels.
Right. And Lola, what are some disadvantages of television in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, there might be some disadvantages. I can name a few. Let's say it takes the time of the people, the families, when especially family members are sitting together watching a TV. Instead of having interaction and conversation, they have to just focus their attention on what is going on TV. So it actually gives less time to family members to be together and to have a family and friendly chat. And also for the kids, I think for the kids, it might be not that beneficial to sit in front of TV doing nothing, just gazing at the tube, and it might be quite destructive for them. It makes them less active. It makes them, in fact, passive, and I can say taking their health issue into consideration, it makes them more fat and obese.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to a different subject now. Do you use the internet much during the day?
Well, I can say yes. I use most of the time during my office on the net because due to the nature of my job, I have to surf the net, find out so many answers to different questions and different subjects. So most of the time during the day I spend on the net.
And what website have you recently visited?
Well, basically I surf Google and Yahoo, but yes, I can tell you that it was the most recent one I have visited was the Yahoo site when, in fact, few hours back, I had to send an urgent email to my colleague overseas. So I switched on the net and I got connected and I composed my own mail. And in fact, through the mail, I sent my message to my friend.
Mm-hmm. And Lala, what are some advantages of the internet?
Well, I suppose there are far too many to be counted. In fact, internet has made the interaction among the people very close, and it brought, in fact, the people close together, and it covered the distances. And as you know, probably it is called now that the whole world is called a global village because of all the interactions and connections among the people. And in fact, with only a single click on the net, you can get connected to your friends on the other side of the globe. You can also send and receive emails, and also you can have access to lots of information.
Do people in your country use the internet a lot?
Well, I suppose I can say yes, more or less yes. People use internet a lot because the youngs mostly use internet for chatting, for surfing or sending and receiving emails. And of course, the organizations and offices use internet for official correspondence.
All right, thank you, Lale. Now I'm going to give you a topic card, which I'd like you to talk about for 2 minutes. Please take 1 minute to study the topic card. And here's a piece of paper and a pen if you need to write anything down.
Thanks.